What is up, you try-hard pre-med kids? I am back with another video. Today I will be talking about how I prepped for my medical school interview. Just a quick disclaimer, although these tips have been recommended by my health professions advisor, by two of my roommates that both got into medical school already, just like pranking your dad, the results may vary.
I'm gonna prank my dad.
With that being said, let's get right into it. First thing you want to do to prep for your med school interview is to research about the curriculum of that medical school. Find out when they do their clinical clerkships and find out what part of that curriculum is interesting to you. Without a doubt, the interviewers will always ask the question, why would you pick this school over the other schools? This could definitely come up in the conversation during the interview, so I think you should be really prepared to answer that question. And on the topic of research, you should also do some research on your interviewers. Find out what their occupation, what they do, what their research is, their profession, and all that kind of stuff. This will kind of help with relating with them during the interview. It may even help with asking questions later on. The next thing I want to do when I prep for my interview is to have an overarching theme or kind of a narrative that you want to tell. Besides your personal statements and your supplemental essays, the interview is kind of a way to bring your story to life and to tell that story to these interviewers and to tell that story to the interviewers. Within your overarching narrative and your theme, you want to answer these three questions. Why do you want to choose medicine? What's so good about medical school? And why do you want to be an MD? Hopefully these three questions will kind of build a direction on how you should frame your story within the interview. I think interviewers are very interested to know the distinction between why you pick medical school and why become an MD versus, I guess, other fields in healthcare, such as pharmacy, dentistry, and other schools like that. The next big thing I wanted to mention was to be prepared for expected questions. And the most expected question you're going to have is tell me about yourself. And I know everyone hates this question because you're not really sure what the interviewer is asking for, but my tip is to have a banger script so you can basically just memorize and go line by line for the tell me about yourself portion. You basically need to first answer why medicine, why med school, why MD, as well as kind of hint into some extracurriculars or hobbies or things that you're going to talk about or mention in the rest of the interview. So at the end of the day, I feel like you really need to have a script and to know it by heart. And I think that's the only thing that I recommend to just memorize. And there are other questions that you might expect as well, such as what are your strengths and weaknesses? What are your goals in 10 years? And I feel like if you go online, go on Reddit, go on Google, and type in medical school prep interview questions, multiple templates will come up. There are a lot of questions you can go from there. And anything online will be really helpful. The one thing I wanted to mention is that when you do get a curveball question that you did not prepare for, don't just start talking. You need to take a second, relax, calm down, and think about the question. I know on my first interview when I was given a scenario-based question or whatnot, I jumped the gun and just started talking and kind of just babbled. I know Daniel and Shoaib have also done the same thing in the first couple of interviews as well. The biggest thing I can tell you about this is to just kind of take a second, just relax, and think about how your answer is going to fit your overall narrative. It's okay to literally say, let me gather my thoughts, let me flush out my ideas, and just give me one moment to think it through, and that's actually totally fine. Just along the same lines in terms of answering questions, when you do get hit by a curveball question or a question you did not prepare for, or a question that you feel like you're gonna freeze up on, the one big tip I can give to you right now is not to say, that is a good question. Every one of these questions they're asking you are great questions. They know that, and that's why they're asking them. Maybe it's okay to say it once or twice, but after that, I think you should really stop. Along the same line of things that you don't want to say, don't mention your personal statement. Don't say, well, in my personal statement, there's this, there's this, there's this. You should really assume that the interviewers already looked at your portfolio. They already looked at your personal statement. They kind of already have your background, and try not to repeat what you've said previously. And the last thing I wanted to talk about for this video, it's a quick video, I know it's kind of short, was to always have questions prepared for your interviewers. Without a doubt, at the end of the interview, or even in the middle of the interview, they're gonna ask you, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions about the school? And you better not freaking say no. If you say no, you literally look so stupid. Sorry, that was kind of rude. But anyways, my point is that you really need to be prepared to answer the questions. You need to be prepared to also ask the questions. For me, after doing research on each of the individuals that are interviewing me, I might cater my questions for them. One of my interviewers was actually a radiologist, so I asked him about the radiology work-life balance and other things like that. I actually had a human resources manager talk to me as well, so I also found some questions that could relate to her as well. And you don't have to cater these questions to them. You can also ask about the medical school process, the admissions process, how the admissions process works, stuff like that to make them realize that you really are interested in that school. I think that's it for now. If you've seen my last video about this, I do have an interview coming up. It's on Monday. And for the next couple of days, I'm going to be prepping my Tell Me About Yourself and prepping these questions that might come up during my interview. And at the end of the day, you want to stay true to yourself, stay positive, stay cheerful. Don't make it look like it's a pain to be there. Especially during now, because we're doing virtual interviews and you don't want to look like a zombie. With that being said, I'm going to go prep for my interview, and hopefully this helps you just a little bit. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below, but probably like the video first because I need my channel to blow up. But anyways, that is all I have for you today, and I will see you on the next video on Wednesday. Bye bye.